This short lecture will introduce you to federal and state administrative law research in the context of environmental law. All of the administrative rules and proposed rules we'll find today are available on Lexis, Westlaw, and other resources. But this lecture will focus on free resources for finding administrative law. Administrative law is created when a legislature, either state or federal, delegates authority to issue rules and adjudicate disputes to administrative agencies. The legislature delegates this authority by passing an enabling act. We'll find these enabling acts on the federal level in the United States Code. Federal agencies make rules by first publishing proposed rules in the Federal Register. The Federal Register is published every weekday and contains proposed rules and other administrative materials. After an agency publishes a proposed rule, receives comments, makes revisions, the rule eventually becomes a final rule and is published in the Code of Federal Regulations, also known as the CFR. The CFR is divided into 50 subject titles, roughly similar to the titles of the United States Code. The CFR contains the text of all administrative rules currently in force. It is revised on a quarterly basis. Every time it's revised, all the old rules come out and are replaced with new rules currently in force. The Federal Register and the CFR are available in print in the law library and from multiple online sources. Now you understand the basic sources of administrative law, let's take a closer look at the Federal Clean Air Act and how it delegates authority to administrative agencies. The Clean Air Act consists of 6 sections known as titles that direct the EPA to establish national standards for ambient air quality and provide for EPA and the states to implement, maintain, and enforce these standards through a variety of mechanisms. State and local governments oversee, manage, and enforce many of the requirements of the Clean Air Act. The Clean Air Act is found at 42 United States Code 7401. Let's pull this up using a reliable and free internet source. This is Cornell's Legal Information Institute. It provides federal statutes, regulations, cases, and some state law. I'm going to search for 42 USC 7410. This is the section of the Clean Air Act that deals with state implementation. So here we have 42 USC 7410. We see we have the text of the law here. If we click on authorities, this is going to show us parts within the Code of Federal Regulations for which this U.S. Code section provides rulemaking authority. So now we're looking at parts of the CFR where the Environmental Protection Agency has authority to make rules. Parts 50 through 97 deal with implementation plans that are done by states. Let's take a look at Part 51. So these links would take us to the text of the CFR. And we're also seeing here that they are alerting us that there are some updates appearing in the Federal Register that will update Title 40 CFR Section 51. So here we can see some pending changes, some rulemaking activity by the Environmental Protection Agency that would change what we're seeing in the CFR. You can think of this like a Shepard's or a Keysight flag, letting you know that this agency is making some changes to its rules. Another way to monitor pending changes to federal regulations and to submit comments on regulations is the regulations.gov website. We're going to go in and take a look at it doing some advanced searching. I want to limit my search to just proposed rules, but you can see the other options that are available here. We could also limit it to only rules that are open for comment. We can limit it by date. We can narrow it by agency. I'm going to limit it to just the EPA. And let's search for air emissions. So here we see there are 31 rules that are currently open for comment on air emissions. And you can actually click this button and put your comments in online. You can also view comments that have been submitted by others. So this is a very helpful site for monitoring the rulemaking activity of federal agencies like the Environmental Protection Agency. Now let's shift gears and look at state administrative law. Most states follow a similar pattern to what the federal government does. They publish proposed rules in a publication that comes out maybe daily, weekly, or monthly, and then they put their final rules into a subject arrangement and call it some type of administrative code. So in Oklahoma, on the left, we have the Register publication. This is called the Oklahoma Register. It comes out twice a month. On the right, we have the Oklahoma Administrative Code. It comes out every year. Both of these are available in the law library. We also have an online source for these that is free and authoritative. And this is the Oklahoma Secretary of State's website. And if we go under Administrative Rules, we can search the Oklahoma Administrative Code or the Oklahoma Register, or we could view the code or the register. In Oklahoma, the state agency that implements state law and portions of the Federal Clean Air Act delegated to the states is the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality. This is their website. It has a lot of very helpful information. I want to click on and show you the link here on the left for air quality. This section of the website is devoted to the Air Quality Division. And if we scroll down on the page here, we can see they have available their rules, state rules, implementing the Federal Clean Air Act. And we can pull those up and take a look at them. Now, it's important to remember that even though we're at the DEQ website, we are being linked to rules that appear in the Oklahoma Administrative Code. So it's important that you remember that's where these rules come from. Back again on the DEQ website, if we go under Air Quality and Rules and Planning, we'll see that they have a lot of information here about their rulemaking activity, including a quick reference guide to public participation in the air quality rulemaking process. They also notify us up here at the top that they are currently engaged in some rulemaking activity on the Ozone National Ambient Quality Air Standards. If we wanted to see all of their rulemaking activity, though, we would need to go into the Oklahoma Register, which is available from the Oklahoma Secretary of State's website. Again, we go to Administrative Rules, and then we can either pull up the register and view it, or we can search it. And let's do a search here quickly for environmental and air. So these are all the Oklahoma registers where the Department of Environmental Quality has published some rulemaking activity. Unfortunately, they're not listed in chronological order. But what you need to do if you want to find the most recent rulemaking activity is look for the highest volume number that you can find. So this would be 31, and then the highest issue number that you can find. So this would be 7. So here, this is the actual pages of the Oklahoma Register where the Department of Environmental Quality is making rules, and you can see we've scrolled down here. Here's the department right here, and they're making rules on air pollution control. So here we have notice of permanent rulemaking, and we can actually read the rule, see that some public hearings are going to be held, that there's a comment period, and we can see what they're actually up to when they're making rules. Well, this completes your introduction to environmental administrative law.